Hello, my name is Susan Herrera, and this is week 7 of Aviation 355 Air Carrier Management. And this week we are doing our airline profile presentations, and I am doing my presentation on Alaskan Airlines. And slide 2 of my PowerPoint presentation for Alaskan Airlines is just another great picture of Alaskan Airlines. And this is the new logo that they actually... Slide 3, its mission statement and the commitment. Alaskan Airlines' mission statement is to achieve our object as a socially responsible company that values not just our performance, but also our people, our community, and our environment. And another piece of information, it was a service commitment from the employees of Alaskan Airlines. And I just thought this was great. It said, "Thank you for being our guest. Our goal is to always provide safe, reliable transportation for a reasonable price, along with the caring, friendly, and professional service that we are known for." And I just believe that this mission statement is truly why I chose Alaskan Airlines. And when we lived over in Washington State, this was a great air carrier for us to use to get where we needed to go. Slide 4 of my presentation, these are the core values. They include integrity, caring, ingenuity, professionalism, and unique spirit grown out of our geographical roots. And the core values of any company are extremely important. I can remember the core values that I had when I served in the military. I still have them today. It's integrity, service before self, and excellence in all we do. And I believe Alaskan Airlines, they definitely have extremely strong core values. And this was another reason why I chose to do my presentation on Alaska Airlines. The next slide in the presentation, it is slide 5, and we start with the history of Alaskan Airlines. And their history goes back to the 1930s. It actually started when 2 companies started flying in Anchorage, Alaska. It was McGee Airways and Star Air Service, and they just became McGee Airways about a few months later. But this is some tremendous history. My slide 5, it includes history from the 1930s, the 1940s, the 1950s, and the 1960s. I would say in the 1940s, that was another great year for them. They officially named Alaskan Airlines. That was the name given in 1944. And another great takeaway for the 1940s, they conducted charter operations. Charter operations overshadowed scheduled service, and they became the largest charter operations in the world. They used surplus military aircraft to carry food in the Berlin airlift and refugees to the settlement of Israel. So I didn't know these facts or this history about Alaskan Airlines, but I just thought when I chose them, their history is extremely solid and dates back to the 1930s. So I thought that was just an extremely great piece of information, and I spent a lot of time on this and just trying to take the information from each decade and just break that down into what I thought was the most important for each decade. So I hope you enjoy that slide. That's number 5. Slide 6. This is continued history of Alaskan Airlines, and this is from the 1970s to the 2010s. And in the 1970s, Ron Cosgrave, he led an incredible new team to run Alaskan Airlines. And this was actually one of the first profits that were made, was in 1973. And their customer service and on-time performance became a priority back in the 1970s. And then later on in the late 1970s, Bruce Kennedy became the CEO, and U.S. skies were deregulated at that time. And the fleet only consisted of 10 aircraft serving 10 cities in Alaska and one of the lower 48, which was Seattle. So this slide here, slide 6, talks about the 1970s, as I just discussed, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. In 2010, they focused their efforts to carry the legacy of technological innovation, customer first thinking, and customer communications via social media. And as you see the plane on the bottom of the screen, that is the Alaskan Airline image that everybody sees now, and they've kept that since the 2010s. So I thought that was a great piece of information. And then just seeing how these planes have grew over the years was just really, really fun seeing a picture of all these planes. So I hope you enjoy that slide, and that was slide 6. Slide 7, this is the market. I felt like this was one of the biggest slides. I really, really enjoyed diving into this part of Alaskan Airlines. So Alaskan Airline has several cargo options. They include General, Priority, Gold Streak, and Pet Connect. The General Air, so this is ideal for customers who don't have time and they have time-sensitive shipments and can't wait for the available space. So for the market, that's General Air. For Priority Air, these are time-sensitive shipments that need next-day or overnight flight service. So, and they just promise that your packages will arrive at the destination by a specific time. So the Gold Streak, this was something I did not know about. This is fast and simple express delivery for shipments or items that need to be there guaranteed. So that's the Gold Streak. And then the fourth one is Pet Connect. They offer animal travel service, and they provide quality care when transiting your live animals, and such as dog, cats, birds, and other animals. So I would say slide 7 and learning about Alaskan Airlines market, this was really awesome. They have 4 cargo operations, and like I said, it was General, Priority, Gold Streak, and Pet Connect. So really great information I learned on and this piece of the presentation, and one I probably enjoyed the best. On slide 8, I'm going to discuss the service characteristics of Alaskan Airlines, and I will say customer service is Alaskan Airlines' #1 priority. And we go back to the caring, resourcefulness, integrity, professionalism, and spirit. I mentioned that earlier on. Alaskan Airline differentiates their company by offering outstanding customer service. They have an unprecedented record of 19 consecutive years of profitability. And we had spoken about the first profitability that they had made back in 1973. And also, the last service characteristic on slide 8, it's the unique spirit of the great land where their airline was born. So, and that being Alaska. So really, really great service characteristics if you were to fly on Alaskan Airline or even work for them. Slide 9 is regulatory oversight for Alaskan Airlines. And as we all know, the FAA is the primary regulatory oversight for the aviation industry. And the more frequent regulatory oversight comes from internal mechanisms and processes in the Alaskan Airlines infrastructure. So they go from their frontline workers to C-level executives, to the board members and the shareholders, and there are several layers of redundant oversight to ensure Alaskan Airlines is always optimized and operating at 100%. So they consider the maintainers, the ticket agents, the pilots, the flight attendants, service personnel, and the Alaskan Airline core values can be found in every decision that they make in their regulatory oversight. On slide 10, we have alliances and co-chairing partners. So the goal, Alaskan and American Airlines, they combined together to establish a program so their elite flyers could enjoy the same elite benefits regardless of which airline they were flying on. America and Alaska already operate a co-chair agreement, and this allows Alaskan passengers to book an itinerary that includes flights operated by American or Alaska. So that was a partnership between Alaskan and American. And on March 31st of 2021, Alaska became the 14th full member of the Global Alliance on its 89th year milestone. And that is One World. That's the next slide. So for Alaska and its guests, One World provides the global network of flights to as many as 1,000 destinations across more than 170 countries in the territories. So Alaska was the 14th member of this global alliance, One World. And again, while its membership in the alliance, Alaska will add 7 new airline partners and enhanced its 6 existing partnerships with One World members. I just learned so much when I was doing my going back into the history about alliance and code sharing partners. This is something that I really never thought about when I flew on this airline or would fly on any other airline. And I would have to say that this class, Aviation 355, has given me so much insight to how important alliances and code sharing partners are. So this was something big that I really learned, and I would say hats off to our professor for that. So great information here. On slide 11, this is the fleet structure of Alaskan Airlines. On the right-hand side, you will see all the airlines, all the aircraft in Alaskan Airlines. So that goes way, way back. They are the 5th largest U.S. airline based on passenger travel, and they are one of the most popular U.S. West Coast air carriers. Like I said in the previous slide, they are a member of One World Alliance, and the 3rd largest airline alliance in the world. The airline operates out of 5 hubs, but the primary hub is Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Great airport. I was stationed in Seattle with my family, and that's where my son was born. So I have a special place in my heart for Seattle. Great, great international airport. They have 171 Boeing 737 aircraft. The average age is 10.4 years. They have 31 Airbus 320 aircraft. The average age for those are 7.7. They have a 62 Embracer 175 aircraft, and the average age is 3.6 years. So a very diverse fleet structure there for Alaskan Airlines. The 13th slide. This is air cargo fleet information. I actually loved learning about this as well. They ship seafood, perishables, dangerous goods, human remains, and wild game. And if you take a trip to Alaska and you want to send totes of live crab, they will send that for you too. They will send packs of wolves or more traditional cargo, shipping with Alaska Air Cargo, and they offer a great mix of flexibility and convenience. Alaska Airline is the only passenger airline in the U.S. with dedicated cargo planes. I thought that was a great fact. I did not know that. They have a fleet of 737-700 freighters, and they deliver flexibility and capability to, from, and within the state of Alaska. And they ship on our fleet of over 330 passenger aircraft serving 100 plus destinations in North America. I do not know, they do it all. Alaska Airlines definitely does it all. And this is just one great example of the air cargo fleet information that I learned about while digging into Alaskan Airline history and the air cargo fleet information. The last slide, it's slide 13. It's Alaskan Airlines corporate culture video. This video is about 1 minute, and I absolutely had to put it in my video just to stress how amazing Alaskan Airline was as far as corporate culture is concerned. So please take that 1 minute and enjoy that video about the corporate culture of Alaskan Airlines. I do not believe it gets much better than that. And also, Alaskan Airlines, they also have started COVID-19 procedures. And one more quick fact, they did a really great video. It's called The Safety Dance. And it is just about wearing masks and being safe while traveling. And this means everyone on the airlines. Everyone has to wear a mask when traveling on Alaskan Airlines. And it's just for the safety of all the passengers, and they take extreme precautions. I watched a lot of videos about the precautions that they take, but just know that if you fly on Alaskan Airlines, that you will be safe if you fly in the COVID-19 pandemic. So slide 14, those are my references. Hopefully I did them properly, and I really truly enjoyed learning so much more about Alaskan Airlines. I hope that you all enjoy my video. Question and comments, please send them to me in our discussion forum, and I truly appreciate you watching this PowerPoint presentation on my Alaskan Airline presentation for Aviation 355. Thank you.
SAFETY. Safety dance. We can fly where you want to, we can leave your house behind. But if your friends don't mask, and why don't they mask? Well, they won't fly this airline.
You can fly if you want to, 'cause we do safety right. We have air that's clean and disinfectant machines zapping germs like an arcade space fight. And we dance
to the dance, do the dance.
Everybody wash some hands.
Do the dance, we're always wearing a mask. Do the dance, do the dance.
No, seriously, please wash your hands.
Do the dance,
HEPA filters cleaning commence.
Alaska safety dance.